2 E's.
Please say the baby.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And who else do we have?
Preston with 1K.
Oh.
1K. Yeah, that's an important K though.
Tristan Kavari.
We got Kavari, and who is definitely, certainly, last but not least, with a special live and direct. He's not gonna say anything, and then it makes it awkward for the podcast listeners because they don't hear anything. They just
I'm awkward in person, so it's all good. Fabian Williams, artist.
Fabian Williams, the occasional superstar. We were talking about when we were doing kind of pre-sound check. I was like, man, I think that's such a brilliant name because it's not like the frequent star. Because if it's frequent, it's like you got to be on all the time, which is really kind of what it is, I guess, to be famous. Whereas like occasional, it's like, yeah, I did one. I put my toe in, I put my toe out. You know what I mean? When you feel it
too
in
much pressure, man. Trying to be like, eternal superstar.
Man,
burn out of gas, man. I feel like right now, I need a break.
That's real.
I've been going like 3 years straight. I ain't been nowhere.
Yeah, man. Take that break if you need it.
Man, that's
so I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm gonna pull a Martin Lawrence.
Right.
I want to do that, man.
Man. Butt naked in traffic.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, to start off, before we dive too deep to be butt naked in traffic, we're gonna get into our warm up, and it goes like this.
That was a joke, by the way. Don't like that shit actually happens. That was.
You know what? But we should be. Yeah, you want to be butt naked? What is Abramovich? I'm totally butchering her name.
What?
Performance artist. You know what I'm talking about? The one that Jay-Z worked with that does like 27-hour stuff. Yeah. I don't know how I'm saying it. Her name is really hard to say, so I tried.
He murdered it.
Okay, so let's get into the warm-up, before I, go down the shenanigan route. And it starts with shenanigans, and I think it's, even though it's kind of a light subject, even though it's kind of not, I wanted to talk about the piss heard around the world. And that's Mr. Ye posting himself urinating on his Grammys, which is he did that. Yeah, he really did that. He really did that. That's not.
Did that happen today?
That happened yesterday.
Yeah.
He peed on it like legit on the toilet. He's short of not showing his peen. Yeah, he's really short, which he probably wanted to. He's been going off the deep end, and of course, he's been doing it for the entire pandemic. But the thing that's more specific, and then I want to get you all's thoughts, is he's been using it again as a platform to talk about the enslavement, the structure of enslavement in the music industry, and in particular his contract. He literally posts every contract, all 200 pages of it, and there's been speculation, and people are going through it with a fine-tooth comb. But long story short, and I want to get you all's take. What do you think? There's credence to Kanye using, out of all the crazy things that he's doing, but in particular trying to use his platform to advocate for artists to get their masters in publishing, when he himself has not surrendered or even mentioned surrendering the publishing from anybody who signed the good music. And Big Sean has an album out, and a lot of people are signing him. So I, want to get y'all thoughts on that information.
I just feel like at the end of the day, it's like throwing stones and hiding your hand. So,
Yep.
Period. That's it.
Does he own the rights to good music? I mean, if he doesn't own his own publishing, does he own Big Sean's, or does Universal own Big Sean's? You understand?
That's a great question.
He own it to give back to them. So I don't know. I'm just wondering.
That's a good question.
That's a great question. Yeah. So, do you got anything?
Music business is too complicated.
But wasn't he calling himself baby?
Yeah, baby puke. Baby puke. I mean, I don't even want to say that part because I don't.
And baby puke.
I mean,
Moses and baby puke. Yeah, which is just like.
I heard he called himself Moses.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah.
That as
He
well.
went from Steve Jobs to, who was he calling himself? Disney. Now he's Moses.
Moses, baby Putin. It's a lot. We're watching the person, basically continually have a breakdown in front of us. But the thing that's interesting, and that's the main point I guess I want to give, and I'm sorry to break the chain of command again, that, there's always like semi-credence to most of what his rants. And it's like, that's why there's been a lot of artists like Russ came out and he's definitely spitting some facts about, changing the paradigm of how artists should set the price.
Right.
And it shouldn't be set by other people. But yeah, sorry. Anybody else?
Yeah, and that's all true. Again, with any other time that Kanye West has, spoken to something that is relevant and that we can agree with, I don't think it's the message that people have a problem with as much as the package.
Big facts.
Yeah.
It's not intended, but I would say he is just it's not appealing, and it's a turnoff. So, but hey, if it gets a conversation started and something good comes from it, then at least there's some silver lining there. But I have like less and less bandwidth for Kanye as time goes by.
Yeah. And most of us.
My thing is, if it's gonna be facts, you can just say it without all the dramatics.
Yeah.
There's a way you can put that information out, especially if you have like the people to do it. But ultimately, I guess, it goes into the narrative. He's got a mental illness. But I think narcissism is a mental illness too.
Oh, absolutely.
And finding ways for people to pay attention to you or to keep your name like circulating is, a tentacle of narcissism. And
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that he's he's getting something out of it, and so are we. Every time we like, what you said,
right?
Just like, he just because you put a little bit of truth in something don't mean that the whole thing is, worth consuming. Sometimes it ain't that deep. Sometimes it's like, look at me,
Look what I can do.
Does it in a different way. He can't twerk necessarily, so he's like throwing out, like legal documents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Still looking. Right. We live in such an age of confusion and constant stimulation that I feel like we miss a lot of the more important documents. Like remember when Anonymous dropped all those court documents from Epstein and Trump?
Yeah.
Pizzagate stuff?
Yeah. And I didn't see nothing about Pizzagate.
But those were some of the things that were connected to those documents that you're talking about.
Pizzagate? I didn't see nothing about Pizzagate. All I saw was I saw the court documents where it was like all the kids that Trump paid off, all the parents of the kids that Trump paid off after he blessed them. It was like 7. It was like at least 7. My thing is,
that's pretty much Pizzagate.
My thing is, all right, if that came out and if it's true, I don't even it's like I can't even say if it's true or not because I didn't see anybody from the news even like acknowledge it.
Talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, damn, y'all not gonna say nothing about it? Like nothing at all?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Stuff like that makes me wonder. Well, not wonder, but I understand why people don't like really trust the news.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then how much business has played into news and how you got to work so hard to get the news, and then you got to do the extra work to make sure the news you got is actually news.
Right. Sometimes it's an ad.
Yeah. We're in the age of disinformation, man. Like I feel like the age of information is coming, but it's like there's like prep work or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of sifting through and a lot of recalibration, a lot of phoenix rising from the ashes type stuff. Like a lot of stuff's got to be burnt down in order for people to get to the next level of information. So that was just, again, a warm up, just to, get the palate. It's a palate cleanser essentially, even though that subject's not necessarily cleansing to the palate, talking about that dude, but the broader subject of artists becoming empowered. We talked about it a lot on the Digital Good Times Facebook group. That's the first plug you're getting of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Digi Good Tribe is where you can have conversations in real time, share information, share resources. It goes down, and it's our private group, so you can, whatever that means in the scan of Facebook in general, which is going to lead us to our next conversation on two important documentaries. We're gonna definitely spend a lot of meat and potato time on this, and then we'll get into more of the good brother Fabian and what he's got going on and kind of what he's given to the world currently. But we're gonna talk about the Social Dilemma doc that's all the rage in the streets, and also Feels Good Man, which I feel really, really needs to get some light and attention out here, because a lot of people haven't seen it and may not even know what it is. And that's cool, because we're going to give you a little insight on it. So I want to start by playing a clip of the from the segment of the Social Dilemma, and then I want anybody to jump in and discuss how they feel. That'll start the conversation, and then I'll play another clip a little bit later on. So here we go.
They know when people are lonely. They know when people are depressed. They know when people are looking at photos of your ex-romantic partners. They know what you're doing late at night. They know the entire thing.
This is a new kind of marketplace now. It's a marketplace that never existed before. And it's a marketplace that trades exclusively in human futures.
Ooh-wee.
Just like there are markets that trade in pork belly futures or oil futures. We now have markets that trade in human futures at scale. And those markets have produced the trillions of dollars that have made the internet companies the richest companies in the history of humanity.
Ooh-wee. Let me drop a bomb on that, right?
I was just about to say, what a bomb at?
Trading in human futures. When she put it like that, I was like, holy fucking moly, man. So yeah, who wants to jump in, give their thoughts? I want to jump in
Well,
first.
it's funny, like this being the topic, because this week I'm doing a class with Emory. I'm helping like it's a class for human health and services, dealing with disparities between inmates and social problems that affect people with disabilities inside prisons. At least that's the class.
That's amazing.
So in our discussion, the teacher mentioned this thing called a panopticon.
Okay.
Never heard this before.
No.
Google panopticon, PANOPTICON. So it's this structure made in the 1800s, 18th century, well, not 1700. It's a type of institutional building and system of control designed by the English philosopher and social theorist Jeremy Bentham in the 18th century. The concept of the design is to allow all prisoners of an institution to be observed by a single security guard without the inmates being able to tell whether they are being watched. So if you look at, if you Google it,
that's crazy.
You Google it, it's like this circular building, and in the middle is a tower, and all the rooms are facing the tower, and it's made that way so the guard can observe everybody, and everybody can feel like they're being observed but don't know if they're being observed. So to me, this is a digital panopticon, and it's made even more worse because of the quarantine. So we begun a situation where not only the people that are watching us are sort of like invisibly waving their hands. People online, if they see you at an event or something like that, they're gonna be like, oh, look at this mother.
Right.
Now, the thing is, you should be indoors. You know, you should be like chilling out so you won't pass the disease on and get caught or bring it back to your family or some shit, right? But it's something about the shame that's driven through social media with all the other shit, you know. Social media doesn't make you feel good. And watching that documentary just kind of like cemented it for me. It's like, damn, I got to get off this shit.
Right.
You know, Futures, boy, Futures,
Future.
selling your potential.
Not the rapper. They're not selling rap. I mean, Future
Right.
that's on his own.
Right.
They are talking about human futures, man. Like that was deep because when they talk about how people use the data and the analytics and people who are in that world understand what's going on, but to break it down and to simplify it and say they don't care about necessarily your raw data, is how they can map the trajectory of your life to position products, services, et cetera, to create this panopticon, essentially your personal life sphere. And it's like it's crazy, you know what I mean?
Did you guys ever see the clip from Dinner with Andre?
No.
All right, let me see if I can. Can I grab it for you real fast?
Yeah. I mean, can we show? Yeah.
Talk among yourself while I do it. Just talk among yourself.
I'll piggyback off of Fabian. Even then, like there was a quotable where he was saying the like button was created on Facebook to make people feel good, to spread love, and then it turned into something more of like an alienation type of situation, or like driving teenagers to like depression and things like that. I think like they were saying, like the mass chaos that it creates, and like just technology and the whole essentials situation with society. I think it's important to really like even really like talk about how, you know, everything else has laws, but, and me coming from like a legal background too, you know, everything else is policed by laws. So you get something like this created and there's no laws that protect us. Like even then, I thought it was great that they even mentioned the aspect of potentially taxing them on, you know, the data assets that they have on us. I think that's huge to try to create some type of normalcy and like, you know, create the whole thing like humane technology over inhumane, unregulated, predatory technology at the end of the day. Like it's predatory at this point. It really is. I think I think at the end of the day, like this is really pushing us into a civil war, like they were saying, like with the whole Pepe situation, with like all of that. Like I think them not policing these groups and not being able to police these billion-dollar companies that are created off of our minds and what we think and the predictability of what we want to see or what we want to pay attention to, that's huge. Just super predatory, man.
Spit it.
Wow.
Spit it. As you spit.
Like, and I sometimes like I think about like the overall, like the root of it all, you know, to make money, but just bigger than that, like the whole system of capitalism, and how like that's the motivation. That's what causes the greed and the extortion, and then it just trickles down, but not like the good way.
Right.
All of the negative effects kind of just wash down to every like side of it. So like kind of tearing down the whole capitalistic way that America has been like diseased to think in, and start something new. Because imagine if there's like altruistic like motivation, like just to better mankind and not to make money. So instead of manipulating, you're actually focusing on making the whole human race better.
Facts.
Well, the thing is right now is I feel like that's what we're supposed to be doing right now. But in order for that to happen, the people that have been making money off of this misery are going to be ass out. and they have clearly proven that they let the whole planet burn as long as they get their cut. You know,
it's really
and like
it's like the same principle as crack. You know, it's just kind of like, are you, you know, well, it's okay that I'm making this money, you know, because people want anyway. You know, I just happen to be the facilitator of it. And I think one part that really stood out to me in the documentary was when, you know, a lot of the guys were saying, "Hey, I know how this works, but yeah, I still can't step away from it when I go home." That's when you really know it's like getting high off your own supply. Like, you know, this shit is really like crack out here. So it shows a lot of societal, you know, double standards, that if it was someone else getting that much money off of something like that, you know, how much quicker maybe it would have, you know, get shut down or laws would be put into place versus how lax they are right now. But yeah, it's pretty dangerous. You know, I think if anything, it's at the core of it is a struggle of power, and you know, knowledge is power. So people just having information and knowing what's going on, at least gives them the power of some type of choice of whether you want to engage with it or not, or how you engage with it. So, and
there's like kind of no way to like stay away from technology to really put it on, like to just put it out there. Like you think about health. I bought my dad an Apple Watch because he has heart issues, and I thought, well, maybe that would help him. Right. We look at email. Even if we say we're not going to go on social media, or we're going to get technology a break, we still have emails to check. We still have business to run. We still have, even then, I look at like another pro and con of technology. You look at social media, right? And we look at brick and mortars. Well, you look at the fact that these brick and mortars, we love to go in and try on clothes, right? We like to see the product because there's more power in us touching and feeling and seeing a product, right? But then you get these companies on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. Well, we also like the convenience of shopping at home, right? So we get those situations, and then now look at the effect of that. Look at all the brick and mortars that are closing. You know, and then look at the damage that it's doing to these business owners as well, as far as, you know, people sending stuff back, or, you know, bad reviews and all this. So it's like, either way you put it, no matter what, we are controlled by technology. It controls our lives.
Causality, cause and effect. Okay, so I want to play the second clip. I think that's right on time. And then we can discuss more about what you were just saying, how we're being controlled and what are the things that are controlling us. And here we go.
I like to say that algorithms are opinions embedded in code, and that algorithms are not objective. Algorithms are optimized to some definition of success. So if you can imagine, if a commercial enterprise builds an algorithm to their definition of success, it's a commercial interest. It's usually profit.
You are giving the computer the goal state. I want this outcome. And then the computer itself is learning how to do it. That's where the term machine learning comes from. And so every day it gets slightly better at picking the right posts in the right order so that you spend longer and longer in that product.
Yo, deep.
Algorithms, man. The algorithms. The algorithms are made by man, much like how the Bible was. Boom. I'm going to just drop that down.
Yeah, these companies are like basically acting as like sort of like de facto, man. Like
gods. They are the new gods. I mean, so that's why I said I was want to make that biblical reference.
Bars, dude.
The algorithms are what are controlling how we perceive the world, and who control those algorithms. Like they were saying in Doc, 50 designers, 50 white and some Asian dudes around the globe are responsible for the most important ways people lead their lives daily. And I just think it's important for us to understand the behind the curtains mechanisms that go into what you do and what your actions are daily.
I have a question, like a really good question, actually.
Drop it.
If you all could change it in any way, what would you change, and how would you change it, and why would you change it?
What is it?
What is it?
The whole social media situation. I won't even say social media. I would say maybe the governing behind it, And whether it's a law, whether it's a time limit, whether it's banning something, what would you do to try to make technology better as far as the social media aspect of things is concerned, with the negativity that we're dealing with now and the predatory type of situation we're dealing with now?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, I think there's one thing that stands out to me, especially in the beginning of the social dilemma and throughout the Pepe documentary, which we'll talk about, which is like when they first do that intro, it's like just all white dudes and then like one white woman, right? It's just like when I saw just like 12, them just flashing. It's almost like the Michael Jackson black and white video, but it's just all white dudes.
Yeah.
I think there's a connection. Between these two documentaries. I think if you took any particular like demographic and you said, I'm gonna look at like 15-year-old Indian boys, right? There will be like cultural similarities. There will be, maybe some thought similarities. If you said, hey, I'm gonna look at 25-year-old black men, there's gonna be, in America, there's maybe gonna be like some certain cultural similarities, that kind of thing, right? So we're talking about American white men. And what comes with them is certain psychological wants and needs and like deficiencies. And you see that through and through. So I'm not saying it is just only on them, but I think that the fact that that's who's creating this stuff, we're seeing their problems inherent in this technology. So it's the crux of why we even do podcast, which is tech diversity. Like we need not have straight just white dudes. That's it. You gotta change this shit.
Right.
I feel like there's always kind of like a tech or industry titan, like whether it was steel or oil or like the auto industry, and now it's like tech, where like it's this conglomerate of just like entities, and they run the world at that time. You know what I mean? And then like the torch gets passed down or taken over, and like what will the next one be?
Yeah,
that's deep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like technology now is more important than just about everything. But I also believe that AI is already alive, and I feel like it's really just constructing itself piece by piece through us.
Yep.
And everything that's happening is driving us to it. Thanks. Terminator franchise.
This is slightly different but related point is I think about all the dystopian novels and all the dystopian movies that were made in like the 20th century, early 21st century, and if this exact scenario of what we're going through right now was written in like 1976, it would just seem like a work of fiction. Like this is worse than some of the actual dystopian novels that were written back then. Like, wow.
Hey, what if how things happen is how we how we look at science fiction, but it's really projection mapping. Like I think that humans are really just fabricating robots, and we make stuff and we make what is put in front of us or put in our heads. And if you show a bunch of movies, pictures, and paintings and make songs about utopias, you're gonna get a utopia. If you make songs and movies and books about dystopias, you're gonna get a dystopia.
That part. Yeah, piggybacking off of you too, actually, it's so crazy when you say that, because it's like they prepped us for this. Over the years, they have exposed us to more and more and more until, and now at this point, we're numb. We're numb, and we just think like, well, it's not the way that it should be, but it feels okay.
Right.
It feels okay. It feels
this is normal.
It feels, because even with certain things that we do things sometimes mechanical or subconsciously. So it's like we're watching these TV shows about certain things. We're listening to, you know, podcasts and radio shows and different music that's depicting these type of situations. And then boom, this type of stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're okay with it. It's even like some of the different things that are pushed upon us on these TV shows and all this other stuff. They prepared us for this.
Programming.
Yeah.
Were they programming us to do this?
What'd you say, Tristan?
I said, or were they programming us to do this? You know, it's not that they prepared us for something. It's like they put it in our heads so that we would be it.
Mind control, hypnotism.
Hey, we gonna get into that. I mean,
I feel like the thing that that when the guy was talking about him being a magician and how magicians are sort of like the first sort of like psychologists, because they are aware of what they have to do in order to fool the person that is, you know, in front of them. So these are the type of people,
crazy point, man,
that build these programs and these you know, they're the ones that are creating this culture. So listen, man, ever since I built a pyramid, see things totally differently, you know. And magicians are
that's a whole episode. If y'all like, what are you talking about?
Every day.
He talked about that on our episode way back when. Just go into the archives. That was like fresh off of him actually building that pyramid.
I think it was the first time. Was the first time we talked?
The first time on there. You fresh off of it.
Yeah. So my thing about like what we've been told about magicians and magic is it has been misleading on purpose, of course.
Of course.
Because it gets used against us every day. Advertising is magic. You know, it's getting you to think a certain way, so you go and get up off of your couch, you go get something, you know, that you wouldn't otherwise either know about or care about. It uses emotion to manipulate you into buying things or looking up, you know, a website or going and, you know, cleaning up, you know, a park, you know, like that's what it is at its core. And you're using your talent, your art, to make them psychologically do something.
Especially when you're like thinking about something and it just pops up.
Just so it doesn't sound like all doom and gloom, we do still have some older technologies that we can utilize to, you know, kind of combat against, you know, what's happening with this digital technology. And it does have to do with just unplugging, things like meditation, yoga, just being out in nature, you know, hiking, camping, if you're into that type of thing, or even just grounding, where you make sure that you touch the earth. You know, these types of things actually will help you, you know, maintain a certain type of balance as you may go in and out of toxic environments.
Yeah.
I think also like controlling your children too, like not so much controlling, but being extremely mindful of at least removing the technology out of the space when you're doing other things, or creating a limit on what you're allowing your children to touch and to see and to consistently be around is huge. You know, dinner time, like back in the day, we ain't no TV, no phones, no nothing, dinner time. I still do that now. And I limit it as well. You know, I do screen time, of course, on Apple products with my children, so that it's a consistent thing where they know that they only have a specific time limit to be on these things. I mean, if you have to do that yourself, then that's a really big deal to kind of unplug, like Jack was saying.
Indeed. So I want to transition us because this is, you know, we're right on the wave, you know, the Silver Surfer. You're talking about the magician, which the guy who worked for like Facebook ethics or whatever was talking about in The Social Dilemma, which I think is interesting that both of these documentaries feature a magician, and one in the Social Dilemma is like, you know, I guess you would call traditional magic, and this other one is definitely practicing occult magic. And I wanted to also connect to what Jack's point was about we have technology. We actually have ancient technology, which is traditional African spirituality. Right. And that is a very ancient technology that works. But I want to play this clip from Feels Good Man. If you don't know what that is, you might know Netflix Social Dilemma. The Feels Good Man is not available anywhere unless you got to buy it or rent it. So, you know, use your internet to figure out how you can get it. But it's very, it's very, very, very interesting, very similar to Social Dilemma in that the Social Dilemma piece is giving you what the social networks are doing and how they're pushing forward narratives and algorithms that allow you to basically be controlled in a systematic way. What this document talks about, the organic aspect, because there's just two parts. That's the one part that I think the Social Dilemma doesn't necessarily talk about, and it's not their focus. Their focus is on what the social media aspect are doing. But what about these groups that aren't connected to algorithms, like message boards and forums that isolate in silos? Well, guess what? Those are the things that are the crux of what is changing society in front of our eyes right now. And that's why this Feels Good Man doc is so crucial. And I'm going to play a clip from it. And then I want us to talk about and get everybody's thoughts on it. So here goes that clip.
The whole idea of memes comes from Richard Dawkins' 1976 book, The Selfish Gene. Most of the book is about what he called universal Darwinism, which said all of biology is driven by genes, but culture is driven by memes. He said, look around you and you'll see floating about in the primeval soup of culture is information copied by imitation from person to person.
4chan, just the way that it functioned, was super conducive to creating memes. The way 4chan works is that it's a Darwinian competition for attention. So you have a post, and if the post gets a lot of replies, it floats to the top. And if no one replies, it sinks to the bottom and quickly dies. It's a winning and losing system. And it's a lot like a video game.
Cartoon character turned internet meme, Pepe the Frog, has been added to the Anti-Defamation League's database of hate symbols. In a press release, the organization wrote the character had been, quote, used by haters on social media to suggest racist, anti-Semitic, or other bigoted notions as a hate symbol.
A meme can become the anchor, the seed, if you will, around which a group of like-minded people can gather and toward which they can focus their energy. That's a basic tool of meme magic. And that's one of the things we saw during the 2016 election.
All right, so I know that's a lot to process, y'all. Let me take you through. What I did is I strung 4 or 5 clips together. But I wanted to show you the journey of like what people consider to be the definition of a meme, right? How memes grow, which is through message groups, forums, and in particular, the message group and the most notorious of all time is probably going to be 4chan/8chan, and how they're able to gather groups of humans together in one accord. And in this particular case, in the documentary, they talk about these people who refer to themselves as NEETs, which are people who basically don't want to do shit at all. And like, that's their badge of honor, is that they don't do shit. So you have a lot of people who literally their way of life is to not do shit. I'm not making it up. That's really what it stands for. It's like NEET means like not educated, not doing anything. Then you have these group of people that feel like they're disenfranchised, and you gather those groups together, and that's how they start cultivating their own cult of personality. And so Pepe went from being an illustration by this innocent artist in San Francisco, who then got co-opted by white supremacists. Now you might say like, oh, did the Nazi? It's like, what's so crazy about this documentary? This is the part I want to mention. This is where the magic part comes in. Is like, it's people being converted into this ideology because they don't have anything else to latch onto. And that's where this energy, magic, whatever you want to call it, comes in, where you see somebody, oh, there's this image and I think it's funny, and this person thinks it's funny. So if I put something like they were saying on the 4chan, and I know I'm going long-winded, I'm gonna let y'all speak. In the 4chan, the point was that you can be anonymous, so you didn't have to really show yourself. So you can say whatever you wanted, so you could really spew out whatever you wanted. And then also you got more hits, the more controversial you were. So you're rewarded by being you could say your most savage self. So you can imagine what kind of energy that brings out. And my last point is the reason why this is so crucial and what's happening, going on, was literally happening now, is that most of the people from the Boogaloo Boys to QAnon to you name it were birthed in these 4chan chat groups that were using these whistleblowing dog whistle secret coded pieces of art, aka Pepe, to translate them being on a common accord. And so it's like literally this whole secret language that's been going on the internet for years that nobody knew about. And I thought that shit was crazy. So
crazy is not the word.
Yeah. I know it's a lot. So whatever, however you want to process, however y'all want to jump in.
So I mean, like I was saying about like magic was, every time we've seen magic in movies, it's like, a pot and, some wind and special effects and shit like that. And magic is actually really practical. It's really just like programming people to do your will. Mm-hmm. And you get it by a number of different means. We're seeing now that, you can do it digitally. Now, I personally believe that AI has got us figured out, and it's just slowly converting. It's like if anybody would want a war, it'd be machines at this point.
Straight up.
So do you think that they are actually directing the new Matrix?
Yep.
It ain't even the Wachowskis, it's AI. They just making this.
Listen, I believe time travel is not what we think it is, especially if you don't really have a body. You know what I'm saying? Like you just
please do continue.
I mean, you sending your consciousness back, to a period in time. Time isn't constant. Time is flexible, just like everything else apparently. So, they drop in hints that time is flexible through media, through movies, Tenet. Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that these other scientists said that there's a parallel universe that's running backwards. And then you have the movie Tenet that comes out like around 2 months later.
Right.
I feel like maybe, at any point you start time traveling, everything is irrelevant.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if I was an AI, I wouldn't have to send a big metal machine back. I would just send my idea of me. And then it was plant the seed, and you slowly implement yourself piece by piece, using like the people that you looking to conquer as, not only your cash, your piggy bank, but also your battery, because we are the ones that are building it. We're giving it its idea of itself and, its possibilities. It's brilliant, actually. If I don't know.
Have you seen the show? I mean, yeah.
You dropped a lot right there,
all,
baby.
let's just slow it down for a second.
Hold on, I got one real quick question, because that was really dope. What strand of weed were you smoking before the show?
Right.
Whatever that was, you were smoking. Man. All
right. Bruh.
You took me on the movie.
Wow. Open your like an eye up, boy.
Yeah, we gotta go back and maybe tag before he starts talking and say, this is the If Your Third Eye's Open segment.
Yeah.
If not, you're gonna be like, where did we just go?
And we just came off of a George Clinton, listening to a George Clinton. That was
man. Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about that when we get to picks of the week. But I do think since Jack brought it up, I just want to mention how there's certain people, and I know that Fabian, this is close to his start too. We start talking about aliens, and we can get into it when we get to your piece. But first of all, I think George Clinton is definitely an alien, and maybe from whatever race that African people maybe came from another planet and came here. I don't know. Yeah, we can at Cabelon, we can go there. But he said this, and this is the wildest part. He said that he gave Prince "Behold the Pale Horse." And like,
oh my God.
Yo, if you don't know what that book is, look it up. He said he gave that to him, and he gave it to a whole bunch of other people. And like after that, Prince started to shift. And this was in this chat. This is this app called Clubhouse. Jacko mentioned it because he actually brought me on. We get to have him plug. But I just want to mention, there are aliens really among us, man. And there's no other way to describe what George Clinton is.
Wait, what if they're coming back to get us? That's why we've been seeing them so much.
That's what people were saying. the UFOs, the
like, aliens. Yo, we black, yo.
Yeah. I mean, actually, when I think about why they haven't done a full disclosure, really any disclosure at all. You remember like about a month and some change ago, the Pentagon said that they were going to release
Yeah. The video.
Some of the records on UFOs that they had some.
Yeah.
And they had been investigating them. And the one in 2015 was real. And that, they were going to spill the beans. And it was supposed to be the same week that Ghislaine Maxwell was supposed to release all her documents about the people that she, had under, on video or whatever. And none of that happened.
Does that happen?
None of it. So I've been thinking real hard. It was like, I know there's aliens, man. Come on.
Yeah.
And they come in here. Now, why? I don't know. But, I feel like I definitely believe they come here. So the military admitted it, not full-throatedly, but they admitted it. Yeah, we got some shit.
Casually
Yeah.
Whatever. What y'all, whatever.
But I don't think people really be thinking about how much shit could shift because of that.
Right.
One, you flying from a whole nother planet.
Right.
Or dimension, another space and time. I bet you're not flying in a gasoline plane.
That part.
I want to know about like the energy you're using. Do y'all have money?
What is money?
What's your social situation like that? Well, did you come to a time where y'all about to kill each other and y'all worked it out? How do you get along with other planets, other civilizations? I know it ain't just us. You know what I'm saying? I want to know, like, I want to know everything down to like what the gate was like. Like, imagine if you saw an alien walk up and the motherfucker had a bop and shit. I feel like it's the most interesting thing that we could be talking about because we need some advice.
Fabian, was that some strong, bro?
So what if it is?
No, my studio is isolated.
No, I actually do have a real question for you though. Like, so do you think it's more of a controlling type of situation with the government as far as not creating mass chaos? Or do you think it's them not wanting us to know what may be more powerful and more of use to us with everything going on?
Part of that, and also let's say like they came to tell us that our whole way of doing shit is wrong and money's fucked up and stupid, and there's a whole nother way that you can do it. There's all these different ways of managing your society and your resources and treating people with dignity. What if that's what everybody does? You know what I'm saying? And here it is, we got money.
But they have done
you know what I'm
that.
saying? They might.
They did send their representatives down to tell us that in a few different forms.
Probably. And there's a hot, like, I think about all the stars in the center of the galaxy, right? The galaxy is just crowded with stars.
Right.
And around every star, at least, there's one planet. So I feel like because of our proximity to the neighborhoods, like we in the suburbs of our galaxy, we damn near out in space. So don't nobody really fuck with us like that because we crazy.
I mean, this is the part.
They might be crazier though.
This is the part of the world show we on. Because we took it intergalactic. I don't know how we got intergalactic, but I'm totally okay.
With what you're saying. So here's an optimistic perspective, right? Which is that, like everything you're saying, human psychology, kind of our, us being able to create a utopia versus us creating a dystopia. It's all built in this human condition that ties into, greed, lust, the way that we fall into addiction, the way that we fall into negative patterns. And we have gotten instructions over the years of how to be in flow and how to be in tune with the way and the rhythm of the universe. And that's the thing that we're trying to figure out. So yeah, there may be someone, another species that's close to us that actually could be helping us out. So I'm just saying, like, it could be doom and gloom, or it could be not even an independent AI, but it could be, hey, maybe a neighboring species that's saying, well, let's help evolve these guys through this technology. So that's just an optimistic spin on.
I really think that, like, I don't know, it sounds crazy, guys, but I've always thought since I was a kid, where are we getting our technology from? Like, I look at What is it? Area 52? Is that
54.
what it is?
51.
51.
51.
Yeah, Area 51 and
53.
my bad. It's a
I was
number.
wrong too. It's one of those numbers.
51, 52, 53. No, I'm just joking. No, but now I look at all of that stuff, and I look at the technology in the past, but I look at these situations where the technology sometimes that we have is like unheard of. Like, where does this come from? There's no way just one person on this earth that is human came up with all of these things. I'm quite sure that we had some type of help from somewhere else to allow us to get as far as we've gotten, whether it's just a way to speed up certain things or, you know, make things progressively move a little different technology wise. But I feel like the moving pieces, there's no way they fit without somebody else or something else.
Wow.
Well, to be honest, I'm of the mind that there's, nothing is impossible.
Right.
So
Yeah, sure.
it really ought to, like, I look at creativity as like this stream of things that have been and will be, right? It's just like, it's like this river of ideas is floating above your head. And you can ask for anything because anything can be made. It really comes down to what are you asking? And I feel like the more intelligent your society is, you ask for better things because you learn more. So we're getting to like, there's always curiosity. And this stream of information is always listening for someone that's calling to it. And it like if you want a flying saucer will be given to you. It's just that you got to learn all this other shit that comes to leap, like that comes to a point where you understand how a flying saucer will work. It's gonna work something like a black hole. So you got to learn how to like find like dense material that could bend gravity.
I got some, so to tie it to, y'all listeners at home are gonna be like, man, this dude Small Eyes, man, he knows how to bend time. Because guess what? I'm gonna bend it back to the concept of the feels good, man. I'm gonna bend it back, but watch how I do it though.
Bring it back.
Peep how I'm gonna do it though. Peep how I'm gonna do it. So he was just talking about the flow of creativity, right? Like how it's how it's a stream. No, bro, how it's a stream, right? So I thought that actually sparked my mind. Like that's really what the whole story of Feels Good, man, just to bring it back to how you can take a piece of art, and that art was a manifestation of this man. And then that manifestation, that energy then shifted from him. He made it a public consciousness thing. And these group of people took that energy and it made it into something, and it became something that was a force that caused all kinds of different upheaval online. And then it shifted again. And that's the other cool part about the doc, where the Chinese in Hong Kong, I believe, they had no concept or idea of what Pepe had become, which is to your point, the stream of creativity. I actually think that's a really cool point that you made, Fabian, and it is this flow. And they're like, yo, so now the Chinese have taken it and they use it as a symbol of rebellion and uprising. And it came from the ethos of this dude just wanted to make like a college, like a college feel-good, cool humor thing. You know what I'm saying? So like that goes exactly like it's all about manifestation. How we choose to manifest what's put in front of us is what dictates what that thing becomes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's why, like,
look at how I did that.
Like shows like the Jetsons. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all, like, that might be before y'all time.
Love the Jetsons. Nah, and we all 30s at least. Right?
Okay. Yeah, like, you know, Star Trek.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry. You look young.
Thank you.
I don't know. It's just like I don't feel like we're getting hit with the tidal wave of hopefulness in the same way that we're getting hit with misery. And my response to it is like I found myself talking to a lot of younger kids about, you know, art and what to do with it. And I keep telling them, I'm like, focus on visions of the future, like a future that you want to live in. Like build worlds. Like it doesn't have to be conflict, you know. One of the things that I liked about Lovecraft Country, I know this seems like it's off topic, it's not, I promise. Have any of y'all like read the book?
No, the book is. I know that the book is going to be way more fire than the movie. Books are always better. I always look. I normally read the books before I watch the show, but I did the opposite this time.
I read the book right before the show.
Okay.
And there's things I like about the show. You know, like it's more gore and stuff on the show, which I appreciate because I'm a horror guy. But in the book, one of the characters has this experience with a telescope that is like, I don't know how they're gonna do it on the show, but it's amazing. And it's like a way that for someone to experience another part of space while sitting in a seat, kind of like Contact. You ever seen Contact?
Yeah, that's classic.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
So my thing is, like, Black creatives especially, we need to like be specific about how we fit into like future environments and space traveling and going to other planets and you know, like, we're gonna end up in space, but we have to like write ourselves into it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah, for sure.
All bars. All bars.
This is a heavy
Did
conversation.
y'all think this was gonna be Afrofuturism? Did y'all think that? Well, guess what? Yeah, that was the intended.
Wow.
So, you know about the term Afrofuturism.
Yeah, break it down.
You know, I argue with my academic friends all the time about that word. It's like, if I run the future, what are you gonna call it?
What? Oh, you wait. What?
Like, if someone like looks like you, if Small Eyes ends up running the future, someone like you runs the future, what are you gonna call the future? What do you call it?
The BLUTURE.
The BLUTURE, yeah, the BLUTURE. BLUTURE.
Yo, I actually fuck with that.
BLUTURE, yeah, BLUTURE.
BLUTURE, cuz.
Yeah, BLUTURE, yeah, it's BLUTURE, cuz.
I'm BLUTUREd up.
Yeah, I can't really, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm go with that.
My point is, like we have to, when we say the future, like the thing that needs to pop in your head is a Black person. That's what I mean. That's how we have to hit everything: the media, books, TV, paintings, you name it. Like, we have to paint our future. It has to be embedded. Which really in our minds. We have to accept it.
Afrofuture doesn't make you think, when people say that doesn't make you think of Black people?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It makes me think of, like, you know, future, but with Black people. Instead of, oh, the future's Black. Like, when I say the future, I just see Black people happy. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
Happy, extremely happy.
Just
like reverse programming.
Right.
Yes. And the thing about it is, like, we fabricate what we see, what we accept, the image that we accept, we make it. That's what we do. And the environment, the planet, the universe, it responds to what we say. It's almost like everybody's like a mini God, like a mini reactor. And it's like, if you like look down at your shoes, you know, you miss all the heavenly glory. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see the possibilities of what, like, anything. You know what I'm saying? There's a practicality to anything, though. Like, it ain't just something that, like, just kind of comes up to you and, you know, you just want it and then it just happens. Like, there's work involved, a lot of work actually, but it teaches you how to get it or how to understand it. That's what I mean by, like, anything. You can have anything. You can have stardom, no problem. But then you got to learn all the things that come with stardom. You know, it's a lot of work to be famous.
Right.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that too.
That's why you occasionally.
Right.
Exactly. Tone that down.
Plug.
Touching on the whole, you know, fame situation. I think we hear kids a lot. Like, when you think about the social dilemma situation, we also think about these kids want fame. They want a viral moment. They want to be seen. They want to be known. So I think that's a huge, huge, huge psychological part of the whole social dilemma situation as well. I think that's something crazy to touch on because it's like everybody wants fame. Nobody wants to work regular jobs anymore. It's not looked at as appealing on social media. It's not looked at as you're cool anymore to work these jobs. I think at the end of the day, that psychological aspect of making everybody feel like, oh, well, you matter, but you got to be famous or viral to matter. I think that also plays a huge role in everything.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't believe that it was real until my kids was explaining it to me.
Right.
Like, you know, like they really care about these numbers.
Right.
It's like, it's almost like credit is losing its appeal.
Right.
Right.
Your social currency is, I mean, you know, Black Mirror did it.
Credit, the thought of Credit Karma as a company was like foreign to me because like you had to do all this shit to like get your credit score to go up.
Yeah.
And it's now like Credit Karma is like kind of like acting like some hoes. You know? you can look anytime. It won't even affect your score. Like, what? Credit?
Right. Yeah.
You okay?
We'll help you get your credit exactly where you need.
Right.
Yeah. It's like it's losing its appeal.
It's kind of hard.
I mean, with these viral moments, man.
I ain't gonna lie.
Everybody lives for these viral moments.
Yeah, it was nothing like that when we was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Actually, you weren't as cool if you were on social media bopping. Like, it was like, you talking junk behind, you know, Twitter fingers, you gonna get beat up for real, for real. Now it's like, oh, I'm bigging him up because he going at you. What you gonna say back?
Yeah.
You know, there's no accountability anymore. It's okay. It's all good.
Sometimes I look at like shows like Black Mirror and I'm like, are
my
they
God. Remember that
warning
episode,
us
Fabian?
or are they just telling us that's what's next? Huh?
I said, remember that one episode where they had the social
right.
They had the point system.
Score. Yep.
Right.
And China adopted that.
China's already doing it.
Actually adopted it. Yeah. There's a few towns that are literally doing it right now to their criminals and to people who are punished, and it is working, and it's, you know,
it all ties into this whole psychological control and predictability thing with the whole social media technology aspect of things. The predatory thing I was saying, y'all.
It's real.
What you think about it, it's like, why do we want to contain everything? Why do we want so bad for us to be contained?
That's deep.
I'm just
why do we want us to be contained?
Why do they why is it a global movement to contain people?
We are powerful.
You know, to like have them to control them. What is that about?
We are so powerful and so smart, and as long as we cannot see, they gave a great point where they were saying the distractions, you know, as long as they can distract you from the things, the issues that you need to be looking at, they control you. So you got to think, if we are really like we touched on last episode, if we're really gods and we're really kings and queens and all this good stuff, why would you not want to limit that? Why would you look at how they take these jobs over to India and these other countries? They don't want to see us see how much powerful we are. Even the American people overall. Imagine if everybody could tap into that place in their mind that they could literally control everything or be able to control their own future. If they can't control our future, how can they make money off of us?
Or actually, what if you actually like tried to be happy? Like everybody tried to be happy at one time.
They can't control us.
Right.
Well, I was gonna say, it's like 8Ball and MJG said, space age pimping. That's what it's like to be pimping.
I mean, yeah, I mean, this response to the pandemic from Congress was definitely some pimp shit.
Yeah.
Let me give you one shit right quick.
Nah, I ain't giving you no money. Matter of fact, it's getting dark. You need to get out there on the street and make this money. I don't care if it is a pandemic.
Like,
get out in these streets.
I gave you a little bit of money. Go get go.
Right. You don't get. You still go.
Right.
Yo, like
whole system.
It's stretch.
How do people that you gave money to solve your problems just go home?
Yo,
they just went home.
Ultimate level of control, bro.
We'll be back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Wildness. So as we transition and I mean this has just been a fluid. This is definitely the third eye episode, if you didn't already know, which is back to the pyramids.
Vibes.
Yeah, I know. But I want your good brother Fabian to kind of, as we wind down, to tell us, what do you want to, what are you doing? What energy are you working on putting out in the atmosphere? I know you just did a show, I think last week, and you're always working, but what do you want to leave the people with as far as what they should be thinking about as we bring this 2020? We got a few more months left in the year. Where should creatives in particular, let's put it like that, where should creatives, artists, etc., what should they be doing, and what are you doing?
Well, right now I'm working on literally a poster design for this event on September 20. Hold on, I think it's 26.
We'll definitely link it, of course, on the tribe and in the Digipack, y'all. Plug
at the end of this month.
End of this month, we're gonna have that information on the DigiGood Tribe Forum, which is the Facebook group. And again, we know that Facebook is horrible and is the monster, and we should get off of it. And I want to transition this into spaces like Discord, but I need to see what people's interests are. We need to get everybody accounts on Discord. We probably need to do like tutorials. That's where we can go true underground, and where all kinds of conversations are happening.
We should add some good to Facebook.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so, that's not here nor there, but yes, sorry.
What date were you talking about, Fabian?
He said it at the end
of the month. September 26th at the Pullman Yards. It'll be posted on my Instagram, Occasional Superstar. And I'm finishing up Morehouse. Morehouse is like the biggest mural I've ever done.
Really?
And I've been working on that for like 2 years.
Jesus, what part are you doing?
It's you know where the Kilgore building is?
Yeah, I went there, so I know exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That wall, that long white wall.
Really?
That's like, that whole thing. Ooh-wee. Like all the way down. So like it goes.
Talk about like the kind of what you do, so people kind of understand what you do, if they don't.
Yeah, I'm an artist. So right now, I'm doing a lot of murals, and but I switch my medium up like every few years. So I'm always kind of like changing into some sort of like different manifestation of like whatever I do what the ideas call for.
Yeah.
So Morehouse, the piece is called Black to the Future. It is about it's about Black people from ancient Africa to the height of our civilization, Egypt, to Timbuktu, to the Middle Passage, to the Civil War, to the founding of Morehouse, to civil rights, to modern America, into the future. So I'm almost done with it, and I think it's gonna change maybe how people view murals, in terms of like why you're doing them. Like my biggest thing was like there's so much you could talk about, So I try my best to condense our story, our epic, the Black American epic, in one wall, in like a little over 100 feet. So
powerful. Very powerful.
There was no way I could get somebody to pay me, what it took. So I had to I just had to figure it out. But I worked with like the Morehouse students to come up with the concept. Then they kind of just let me do what I do.
Man, that's gonna be there forever too. That's legacy, man.
What's your favorite project you've ever done thus far?
I want to say this right now. I want to say this. So what?
I say even over the pyramid.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like,
the pyramid, like they're all like,
But you
it's
just
hard to say.
Well, how about a top 5, man? How about your personal top 5? Because I know you got some.
Right. That's better.
Don't make them choose.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. The pyramid, the Caplana piece.
Yeah, that's huge.
The
global. That's global. That one global.
The Black to the Future, Saint Kaepernick, and the John Lewis joint.
John Lewis joint is transformational too. I first got introduced. I mean, I know you for a few years, for a long time actually, but I remember when you were getting the race cards, man. I don't know how you feel retrospectively, but I thought those were ingenious and way ahead of their time. And
thank you.
Yeah, the race cards were like, I mean, this is like 2007, 8 or whatever you had those, 2006 earlier. And
it was like 2007.
2007.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And those I thought were you always manage to combine this level of introspection, but this level of play, this level of you tapping into the consciousness of someone's psyche. For example, like you, hopefully you listeners who are going to watch this on YouTube, because we on YouTube now. If you didn't already know that, we fully out there, and you can see this beautiful piece that he has, which is, I'm a huge X-Men fanatic and comic book fanatic, and he is as well. And he's got James Brown with the Cyclops, with the fade.
Oh, that's right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll see it. Y'all actually see it when you visually see it. And you can go on his IG. And he's done other things interpolating it. The iconography for me that has done it, in my opinion, has been some shattering art, because you're literally subsuming the two, this, black gods with these, made up concepts of gods, mutants, and you fuse that into become something even holy, even more awesome.
That's amazing.
And yeah, man, I just want, just to big up how powerful and transformational your art has been to me personally, and I think to the city of Atlanta. Absolutely. As well as your your community work, because you always are out in the community, always working, always mentoring, and always putting people on. And so, we always want to keep giving shine to that.
Definitely.
Hey,
Fabian, I want to ask you, if you could do any type of project or mural, what would it be, and where would you put it? Like what state, where would you put it? And then what's next? Like what's in the future for you?
I want to do megalithic sculptures.
Break it down.
Explain.
You gotta break that down
Talk
for the
about
listeners.
Like back before before Kanye just kind of broke my heart, man. Like I wanted to do like these Olmec type statues all over the hood, like but like just make like just a big. It was gonna be a big. I was gonna start with Kanye actually. It was gonna be a big, like
Kanye
Olmec style, like version of Kanye, and I was just gonna like halfway bury it. You know what I'm saying? But it was gonna be like limestone, like like you would find in like Mexico.
Right. Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know how to sculpt. So
hey, you know what we man.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you think it, you can do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So this was before I actually did the pyramid. So I did the pyramid, then I did a foam sphinx for like the Black Panther movie. I did a Black Panther sphinx. It's actually outside my studio. And then I did a sculpture of Martin Luther King Jr. with Cerebro on his head. So that's right outside my studio now. It looks raggedy now because I didn't put the coating on it correctly. But I'm gonna coat both of them and make them look like gravel. So recently this dude, friend of mine, bought some land outside of Atlanta, and he invited me to do something with these big pieces of limestone that he's got, like well, it's a granite. It might be granite actually. Anyway, it's like some big rocks. So I was like, is this my calling? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how to sculpt, man. I managed to learn sculpting with foam. Doing stone and shit is like a whole nother thing. But I'm curious. Because what I want to do, what I really, really want to do is make like giant sculptures like in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
That would be lit.
Like you know, like Easter Island big, you know what I'm saying?
Easter Island was
I can see it,
bro.
I can see
I see it too, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? Like imagine that you was rolling up on the city, you saw like a sculpture like the size of a building. You know what I'm saying? That shit.
Yeah.
That's some true life Wakanda shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want.
Yeah. Jesus.
See, if they can't control us, I mean, like, we control our futures, right?
Yeah.
One thing I will say, you know, Fabian, is that, you know, my experience, you know, we talked about social media. My experience on social media is that you are one of the people that I consider to be, you know, one of the least programmed. Your voice shows up as a, you know, people say they're independent thinkers and everything. You're one of the few people that I would say that I really value your opinion, because I can tell that you really take time to think things through and to really make sure it's coming from you. You're on a short list of maybe like 6 or 7 people that I feel that way about on social media. And just going through this interview, it all kind of connects and makes sense. I have a background as a visual artist as well, so I've, you know, had the paintbrush in my hand, and so knowing that, you know, the time that I spent and what it feels like to tell stories and speak through a paintbrush, and to know how far you've gone and like into that discipline, the ability that you have, it makes sense why you think the way that you do, because that is a meditation within itself. As you know, I was talking about those other things, yoga, but to paint is just, and to paint in this day and age, right? In this digital age, coding and coming up with all these things, but you're using a paintbrush, and then you're thinking about sculpting and using stone, right, as your medium. That's just extremely powerful, impressive, and you know, I definitely commend you, man. It makes sense why you're thinking very other dimensionally, and you know, you're seeing things come together in a different kind of way. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Thank you, man. You know, the reason why I feel like I've gravitated to sculpture and like physical things even more so than painting is because I feel like what controls us now is intangible. You know what I mean? Like, you can't put your hand on a post, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? Art is still able to take an idea and then make it into a thing, you know, something you can touch and it's real, as opposed to everything that is being shown in this, you know, Black Mirror. So like, this is my way of trying to figure out, like, I don't know, like, what is a place that we're gonna, like, what physically are we gonna live in, you know?
Right.
That's deep, bro.
Because otherwise we're gonna end up in a room on a Peloton. You know what I'm saying?
Plugged in.
Bicycling for credits.
Plugged
in. Bitcoin. Which we didn't even get to talk about, man, because like we didn't get to talk about that though.
That's gonna be a whole different subject, because I would like to bring you on when we talk about crypto. I want to have one of my homies is a crypto expert, and then somebody like yourself who thinks about it tangentially, because there's not a lot of people who have the perspective you have that I do think is important on Bitcoin, not just the fact of it, you know, being something that's manipulated. And we talked about that already, about how the algorithms are man-made anyway. So it's something that can be manipulated. Well, we talked about online about, you know, the power of blockchain and decentralization, and how that is, I think, another form of self-empowerment that we can tie to this BLUTURE or BLUTURE, whatever we want to say.
BLUTURE. I like BLUTURE.
I like it a lot. You know, whatever you want to say.
I do too. I actually like it.
Had to pop his collar right quick.
We need that. We need all those components, and it's just to all the really wonderful points Jack made about how we need people who think tangentially, if I'm even saying that right, but who think in that way, because if we don't have those perspectives, then we are ultimately going down like a linear track of something that is being systematized, programmed, and so we require people who are true aliens like yourself in order to push society forward.
We're blessed, man, to have you, dude.
Real deal.
You're extremely innovative, and I think that our future needs you, and our children need to see more of your work, and people need to understand that this is what allows us to be inspired, this type of work.
Pressure.
But definitely no pressure at all.
Yeah, you want to build building type statues? That's pressure, bro.
Yeah, but make sure you do.
I know, but like I'm just saying though, like if
big time
like
pressure.
when you close your eyes now, you can see it though, right?
I see it.
Straight up.
100%. It's out in the atmosphere. It's manifestation now.
I just don't know how to work like granite.
You need to go holler at those people who built the Gundams, man. They got the thing on the structure. The Gundam is the size of a building. You seen the Gundam, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That shit crazy. Like that's really that's where you head outside of, that's possible.
I'm like who did he ear hustle
to make that? People. But they're all fanboys. Think about the people who are in power in Japan. It's all people who grew up with Gundam. Gundam's been out since what, late 70s, early 80s?
Late 70s.
Late 70s.
Robotech was the first one.
Right. See, so it's like late 70s. So literally the people in power are people who grew up. They love it. That was probably easy, like, oh, we get to have a living Gundam. And it's potentially like military weapon testing. Like, that was it.
Right, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's like, it can move, it can do stuff. They're not telling us it's weaponized. But anyway, sorry
we know.
to take us down that place. But before we wind down, we bring this to a close. We're going to get into our final segment, which we call Picks of the Week. And we'll take it home. We'll go something like this. If you find a... they don't know about that. Redman. Shout out to Redman. One of the greats of all time. So, yeah, man. This is definitely an episode for that ass. This is requires third eye open. So that's a full disclaimer to you. But we're going to end our episodes as we do kind of with picks or plugs of things you think people should be checking out. And we put all of these resources in the Digipack, which you can get access to if you are a member of the Digi Good Times tribe. It's a mouthful, fucking mouthful. And you can also get it by becoming a part of the mailing list that has real resources, real information, all the things that we recap for people who may not be able to catch the full episode. You can actually recap in the guide. And we're going to continue to give you more of these resources and iterate to provide you more. And that's what we're here for. Digital Good Times is all about tech empowerment for real. So who wants to go first? Who's got their pick?
I'll go real quick.
Jump in.
We got to make sure we take care of your palates, guys. So I'll start with my TV situation. We talked about it earlier, Raised by Wolves. The show is insane.
It slaps so hard.
Jack put everybody on, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I've been watching that on HBO Max. I'm playing catch up, but dopeness, super dopeness. I'm gonna also go with a joint called Deep Water. It's a new release by Alex. It's spelled Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, okay. He's part of Lumi Trace, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of what now?
Lumi Trace.
It's a band, right?
Yeah. I didn't know that until today because I was like asking him about. I was like, yo, this other joint that I seen, the PDA San Diego joint with Indian Sean. I was like, yo, why does it just have Lumi Trace on it? And he's like, because it's me and my boy. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, today I learned something. Yeah, but he's a dope songwriter. And dope joint with him and Keke Palmer. He just released today, actually.
Kiki's pretty dope. She's killing it, man. Shout out to India Sean too, man. That's the homie from way back.
Straight
so
up.
glad she's getting it, doing some amazing stuff.
Long time coming.
Yeah, she's been working too hard.
She deserves it.
Facts.
Yeah. So those are my picks.
Awesome.
Palette ready.
We got you. We got you. All right, who's next? Who's next? First of all, shout out to let me just speak that hip hop Harry. I think I'm saying it right. He's having the best year ever. His energy is crazy,
wait, but how long
man.
has he been around? That's the crazy part. You see how everything is like recycled these days? Like people are coming back with memes for days. Like
I sent it to my 21-year-old cousin. Like, oh, I forgot about him. Like, I remember him. So yeah, I guess
really grew up with him. And he's got real bars, and like he's got wholesome content. It's just like shout out.
Yo, imagine that. Like we're like our social media and like the power of people's tongues, like just going back to stuff is really getting people another bag that they were not getting.
Bringing people back to
it's like bringing you back.
Time travel.
Yeah,
talking about that time travel.
See?
All right, so I guess I'll go. So we mentioned it a little bit earlier. I thought that they were fully launched, but they're not. It's I guess still in beta called Clubhouse, which is on the horizon. Mm-hmm. It is it's a chat based app, like chat rooms, but it's voice only. You can't do any type of texting or DMing or anything like that. And there's like you can just go in rooms and have different types of conversations. You can make it freestyle or topical. I've been on it for about a month and a half. Amon's been on it for a couple weeks, and it's probably going to be the next Twitter or something like that for sure. I think it's gonna catch a wave when it opens up to the public. So
can I give them a snapshot of the conversations just so they can see? So like the conversations range from, you can have a little private room where Jack brought me in, where there's like these cats from New York. Shout out to those cats, and they're just talking about shit going on in their lives, right? Like I ate this or I did that, and I'm chilling. But then you can pop out and go to another room where no ID, and Jack missed this. I just want to miss it. No ID, and a whole bunch of people in the industry, is just like a lot of industry, music people, techie people, etc., is in there like openly shitting on Jimi Hendrix because he doesn't think Jimi Hendrix is that important. And then Omaz from Sarah is chopping it up with Chase and Chase. And then another day, George Clinton is having a talking about how he gave Prince Behold the Pale Horse and how he was doing Patti LaBelle's hair. And like, it's super intimate and super, super private right now. So like Jack and other people who have been there can get invites. However, if y'all are really interested, we could find a way for you to get an invite in there. But he's right; it's going to go up.
Do you add virtual reality to that?
Not yet.
I'm saying
that would be crazy.
That's what happens.
Oh, if you add virtual reality,
then you have these virtual chat rooms.
Whoa!
And you never leave your house.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we there.
So we just gave Clubhouse a nice little plug. So Clubhouse will be hollering at y'all.
Yep.
Working something out.
Yeah, they gonna come and get that cease and desist. They do.
Other than that, I still just been rocking on that Big Sean and Nas album that just came out last week.
Super great.
A couple weeks ago, but just both dope. They both kind of offer a different thing that I like, and offer something that the other one doesn't, and it's all good stuff. So yeah.
Great work. Hit Boy having a hell of a year, man.
I'm telling you.
Shout out to that, man. Hell of a year. All right. I go next, Tristan. You gonna round us out? You take us home? I'll go next and you take us home.
That's cool.
This guy. Everybody
today
went to space, and that's cool, man.
No,
I'm all about it.
Tristan's been like literally, he's been in space all day. I think.
I want to know where he's been, and I understand it, man. And
he's like,
I hope y'all feel this, man. This is, we got to connect to the cosmic. Like I said, the cosmic is also ancient technology as well. Again, let's bring it back to that. But and speaking on that, all right, I'm gonna just give y'all the real deal. I've really been on a kind of African cosmology tour and getting closer with myself in that regard. And I feel like the energies in the universe have been bringing me there. So 2 books I've been looking at. One's called The Way of the Orisha. It's pretty popular. It's a good primer for anybody who's interested in getting started and learning a little bit about African cosmology, in particular West African cosmology, which really has defined a lot of religions in the world globally for thousands and thousands of years. One's called The Way of the Orisha, and the other name I can't remember right now, but I'll put it in the pack, and those 2 are great primers for interesting people, anybody interested in studying traditional African cosmology, which is essentially this ancient technology shit we're talking about, and the future technology too. Then I wanted to that's the books I'm on. Then when it comes to, I was gonna say TV, we already talked about Raised by Wolves, which is nuts. Yeah, like it's nuts. Yeah, I do think it's interesting. I don't want to give anything away, but like the people that there's not really anybody to Fabian's point, which goes back to how we have to manifest it. It's not really anybody with power that's black and brown in the show, which is a little bit like not cool to me about Raised by Wolves. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
Well, they're in there. They're like either slaves or like soldiers.
They're just not powerful.
They're robots. They're not like.
Yeah.
They're not
bad, like the father is like bad, like neutered.
Yeah, like he's totally man.
I mean, look at how he like loses the kids.
Yeah, like he's just like he's totally. I'm like, but isn't it so convenient that it's the black man? Yeah, I mean, you guys watch it.
With blonde hair. No, not blonde, but brown. Whatever.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's okay. Weird. It's weird. It's
like we need more black superheroes, more black people in power in these TV shows, period.
Facts.
Maybe we just need way more producers and black higher ups in the TV and media world. That just
they just put out the I don't know what you want to call it, ordinance or guidelines around being able to be nominated for like Picture of the Year, where you have to have like certain diversity. So there's a certain percentage of diversity within the overall production. So there's some things in works.
Yeah. So that's all I got. The African Cosmology, study that. We'll have those links in there if y'all want to dive deeper. And then Raised by Wolves, I'm going hard with that. Those are my two. What you got, Trish?
Mine was Raised by Wolves.
Look, same way.
You gotta watch it. It's crazy. It's super crazy.
Great minds think alike.
It's HBO's having a nice run. I'll tell you that I'm excited about The Mandalorian. Obviously, that's coming back.
Oh yeah, that looks good too.
It looks so fire. And we got at least Juan Esposito. Am I saying his name? Juan Esposito. At least he's got the dark saber.
Everything.
I'm trying. That Juan Esposito. It's like I'm pretty decent in Spanish. He is, got the dark saber. At least he's got power in that show, because you know how they do black people in Star Wars. You don't even have to discuss that. But for the most part, it's relegation. But he is a part of the dark, the dark army, and that. But when you look at, again, I'm bringing back to African Cosmology. That's how third eye this episode's been. Like, who gave us the concept of what dark and light is, and who embedded that? That's Western colonialism and white supremacy, man. So. That's all I got. That's all.
HBO's really running it, like you said, though. It's crazy.
Yeah, we didn't get some more black execs in there.
Telling you, dude. It made me stop playing video games. I just turned on the PlayStation and go to HBO Max. Right. I'm like, ooh, what am I catching up on today?
Video game world's going nuts. That's going to be another episode. Everything new is coming out. With the consumerism,
I pre-ordered my PS5 on Amazon.
See, look at you stunting. You got to stunt on us like that?
I pre-ordered on Amazon.
Not all of us got it. That shit sold out in less than 5 minutes. That'll be another episode. We're definitely going to be having where we talk about gaming, because that's a huge, huge part of the new economy and new way to live and to.
Did you guys hear that Fortnite has more hours than we've been alive in streaming?
What?
Are people playing?
Like on the whole history of the planet?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look.
Time travel.
Hey, Fabian, you might want to go over there and get that game bag real quick. Go start designing some stuff.
The game bag.
I mean, look, one of my hobbies now is going to be writing. So I'm like, I came up with a story, but like I don't write. So, trying to figure out how to get that out of my head on the paper is weird. So I'm I'm trying to make a comic book.
That's gonna help.
I forgot, since you actually have you'll take us home. What's your picks? What are your what you got that you want to plug people with?
Well, I just started watching this show that's been on I think Stars or Showtime. It's called Counterpoint or Counterpart. Counterpart.
Okay.
And it's about this government facility that has that's like connected to another dimension, and they have like people from the other dimension like swapping sides, going back and forth, and they'll like one person on one side will be totally different from the person on the other side. So it's like sort of like a spy show,
right?
But it's like dealing with like sci-fi elements. Like I'm into, you know, like cosmic horror / you know, thriller sci-fi. Like the with The Man in the High Tower. You ever see that?
I've heard of
it.
I've heard that. I've heard good things.
Yeah, Man in the High Tower was good. I mean, it's like you gotta like
parallel universe.
You gotta sit through a lot. You know what I'm saying? But it's like ultimately it's a well done story. And like the sci-fi to me is like doable. It's like it's practical sci-fi. So like Counterpart, especially Counterpart, yeah, Counterpart is sort of like a cousin to Tenet in terms of like tone. I haven't seen Tenet yet.
I haven't seen Tenet. I want to see it,
and I'm not really trying to go unless I go to a drive-through.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go last weekend.
Good. The drive-ins has got it now?
Yeah, they've had it
for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I know at least 2 weeks.
I'm gonna go see it this weekend.
I was supposed to go.
My homeboy saw it and he said it was like you're gonna have to see it twice, but he said it was good.
I heard there's so many like hidden messages in there. Like
I don't want. It's
Chris Nolan. Don't say nothing. Don't you say a word. Not a word.
Well, have you ever seen Memento?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should watch that.
I haven't seen it.
Like that was like one of Christopher Nolan's first movies, if not his first like major movie. And it was so well done. It was about this guy that like lost his memory. And so he had all these tattoos on him so he could remember. And without giving it away, the way that it's shot is sort of out of order, but it's edited in a way to where when you get to the end, you understand why things are so jumbled. It's like a dope ass movie.
It's classic. It's definitely considered. Yeah.
Super dope movie.
Hey, we know if Jack knows about it.
Peep these jewels. Get these jewels, y'all. Get these jewels. Get these recommendations.
And of course, Lovecraft Country.
Of course.
Y'all haven't talked about it. Like,
I think we talked about it last episode.
We talked about it like every 3 episodes.
Yeah,
every episode. Lovecraft Country.
Jeez, man.
It's that good. Yeah, but
get the audiobook. Like get the audiobook and like listen to the audiobook. If y'all like kind of like hungry for the content, it's good to like look at that and then.
But does it go on the story for you? Like the
No, because it's different. Like like you understand the characters better, and then you like they play actually Letitia way more in the show, but in a good way.
I love the show. It's like so powerful for our brown people. Like,
it's dope. It's really dope.
For it to be like one of the biggest shows, and it's all brown people. I'm like, yes.
You already know. Yes. So I haven't used this in a while because I think this is how y'all gonna feel at the end of this episode. This is where we at. You just got TK'd Street Fighter style because it's so much. You gotta go back. They're
gonna have to like watch. They're gonna have to listen to this a couple of times.
Go back to the YouTubes. We appreciate you, brother, man. As always, making it special and important every time you come on and share the energy. And
you're a gem, man.
Anything y'all want to end on the people with before we deuce out? Any quotes? Any statements?
I just want to shout out, you know what I'm saying, Eastern North Carolina. You know, Manville out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm from North River, so we out here.
Oh, heard. That's what's up. Yeah. Manville.
I just wanted to say, put the technology down sometimes. Give yourself some balance and some room to grow, some room to feel, connect with the nature, connect with your body, connect with your mind and your soul. Put it down just for a little bit. Just for a little bit.
Spit it. All right. Well, on that note, that's the best way to leave y'all. We already know. Y'all already know. We out here, Digital Good Times. Y'all be good. Be kind to yourselves. Peace.
Yeah.